Welcome to Gospel Music USA, bringing you the best in Southern gospel music from coast to coast. Now here are your hosts of Gospel Music USA, Danny Jones, Karen Peck, Gooch, and Mike LeFevre.
Hey everyone, welcome to Gospel Music USA, your home on the television for great Southern gospel music. My name's Danny Jones. I'm with Singing News Magazine.
I'm Karen Peck, Gooch with Karen Peck and New River.
I'm Mike LeFevre with the LeFevre Quartet, and we are just honored that you decided to tune in to Gospel Music USA today. We've got a great program.
We do. We have a legend with us, and I use the word legend with all sincerity. Great songwriter, great singer. I mean, where would gospel music be without this gentleman?
Some of the most historical songs in gospel music.
Exactly.
Done, written, and sang.
And there's no one like him.
Yes.
All right. So, Karen, who are we talking about today?
We're talking about Ronny Hinson, and you're in for a treat today.
So, ladies and gentlemen, will you make welcome a true legend of Southern gospel music? Here is Mr. Ronny Hinson.
I ain't nothing on my own. I make mistakes, can't count the times I have slipped. I'm just common flesh and bone, but I'm gonna prove someday just why I say I'm of a special kind. When he was on the cross, oh, Ronny was on his mind. There was a look of love all over his face. Those old thorns, they were there upon his head. Oh, the blood, the blood, the blood, it was on that old scarlet robe. See, it had stained it crimson red. Hey. And though his eyes, they were on another crowd, somehow he looked ahead in time. Oh, when Jesus hung there on that old rugged cross, there you were on his mind. He knew me, yes he did, yet he loved me. He whose glory makes all of the heavens shine, so unworthy, that was me, of such mercy. And yet when he was on that cross, I was on his mind. Oh, when he was on the cross, I love you today and forever, God, I was on his mind. Oh, man. I get to singing that song, and I can't help but think of how lost I was. And when Jesus came on the scene, the truth is I wasn't looking for the Lord when he saved me. I was like all sinners. I was looking for another way to sin. But I had a plan I thought was a foolproof plan. It was a fool's plan, all right, for it was going to lead me to destruction. But God interrupted me with his plan. Aren't you glad that he had a better plan for you? I remember coming to Atlanta and where we're filming today, and I remember my family traveling on an old bus that may break down and it may not when we first got started. And we probably gave a lot of pastors that are listening or that used to pastor anyway, because that was quite a while back. We probably gave them heart failure because we'd call them up and say, hey, can't make it. Bus broke down. My mama used to say that God gave us the call to sing, but the devil gave us the bus. And that kind of was the way it looked like it was. But I remember that if we showed up in this area, we were fixing to sing this old song right here. And I want you to listen to it. I'm so glad he found me. In love he bound me. He put his arms around me. And he led me to the shelter. Now I'm one of his own. And oh, the joy of knowing with hearts a-glowing, someday I'm going to my home in glory. All those streets paved with gold. I like this. Now I'm gonna love him ever. I'm gonna stray from him, no never, 'cause he's the dearest friend I ever knew. And when I see him yonder, this love's gonna still grow fonder in my happy home beyond the blue, where we'll all sing, I'm so glad he found me. Aren't you glad? In love he bound me. He wrapped his arms around me. Oh, then he led me to the shelter. Now I'm one of his own. And oh, the joy of knowing with hearts a-glowing, someday, oh, some glad day I'm going to my home in glory, and walk those streets paved with gold, and walk the streets paved with gold.
Welcome back to Gospel Music USA. Today our guest is none other than Ronny Hinson, and Karen has been so excited ever since she found out that Ronny would be on this program, and she has prepared a list of questions at least 8 times this length right here. So, Karen, it's all yours.
That's right. We only have this much time, too.
Right, well, you're wasting it.
Well, I've actually...
My first statement is, oh, no.
Well, I was going to say this is going to be a show where all of us are back stage watching you sing. We're going to be singing all day because we know these songs and grew up singing these songs so well. And you have written so many songs that are, I mean, like classics in Southern gospel music, really in any genre of music. And I was on an ego trip. I'm not on an ego trip. Oh, I was on an, but you can tell who the songwriter is. When he was on the cross. How did you write that song?
Well, I wrote it with Mike Payne. Now, we co-wrote it together, and Mike had an idea when he was on the cross. He was thinking about me, something like that, and they were in a motel room in Ramada in Nashville, Tennessee, and I went to see him because we always got together and wrote something, and he actually threw that out to me, and I said, well, let's make it hook a little bit, you know. And so I put the I was on his mind thing, and we played on the on all the way through the song, the word on, you know.
You always have a hook in the songs. I was on the way down to the studio, I was listening to the Hoppers, waiting for the ride. And hear your voice on there. I've got goosebumps just talking about it. You're such an anointed singer and songwriter, but what memories I have of you with the Hinson, with your brothers and your sister. My goodness, what great memories.
Those were.
You know something that I remember too. We would when we would sing with y'all, is it never failed. But all the groups, when it's time for the Hinsons to go on stage, all the groups would come inside to hear the first note of the band hit off. Oh, yes. And it was just, the Hinsons always had such an excitement. You know, it was just an exciting time for the other groups, too.
Isn't that something? Aaron Wilburn fills that part now in today's gospel music, you know, the comedy part of it. So that's what drew everybody to the head.
You know what? This is the thing is you had such a way with that crowd. You could always tell that you were reading the crowd and you knew exactly what to say. You knew exactly what songs to call. And I remember you and Kenny would work off of each other. And wow, what great days.
Well, we always felt like, of course, there's no way you should get in the way of the Spirit moving. Exactly. But if people have paid, what, $10, $15, $25 to get into a place and you don't feel good, you know, or you've had issues happening just like every human being does, and it would be great to be able to come up there and say, I don't feel like singing, you know, today, and you know, but you've got to, I always thought, you've got to give them something and then get out of the way when the Spirit moves, but have a plan, have a direction that you're going, and that's what we tried to do. It was a concept that we always.
But you know what? You were in a category of your own. Am I right, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Just a category of your own. And it's amazing how we'll hear groups nowadays and say, I think like the Crab family said one time, well, hopefully we can be another Hinson, you know, and that was really awesome how the groups, a lot of groups pattern themselves, or a lot of times we'll sing a song and say, oh, that sounds like a Ronny Hinson song. And but your name is so well respected and so loved in this industry.
You know, Karen, that brings up a good point. There was such an excitement about going to see the Hinsons, no matter where they were, in a church or a concert, and everybody loved the band, the vocals, the songs, everything, but everybody was sitting on the edge of the seat to hear one song. Yes. And when that intro kicked off to the Lighthouse, the whole place just changed. Yeah. Ronnie, we got about a minute and a half left. Tell us about the beginnings of the Lighthouse.
Well, this is kind of a humorous thing, we were out on the West Coast, and we lived out there, and we were just what they called the warm-up group, and we were singing when the Goodmans and the Rambos and all the major groups would come out west, and they'd load their buses up with the newest project, you know, 8-track tapes back then, and they'd come west to sing, and we'd sing on the program before them, and we were just so, I said innocent at one time, but maybe it was ignorant, that we'd learned all their newest songs, and we'd sing them before they, you know, and we had relatives back east that sent us their latest, and so with that, the promoter said, man, you've got quite a following. Said, we want to keep you on the program, but said, we'd like for you to sing some of your own songs. So we're practicing 2 weeks before a concert, and they'd never written anything, and trying to transform something from a hymnal, you know, that would fit us. And 2 o'clock in the morning, and my brother Larry, he's the youngest, he's 11 years old. He's about to go to sleep. And so they said, I said, well, I'm going to go down to the bathroom and write us a song. And I went down to the bathroom in the basement of a big church, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, on a piece of toilet paper in the stall next to the wall, and wrote that song. And you couldn't hardly read the words. And I brought it back up, and I said, here's the song. And they threw it in the trash can. And we went back to the hymnal, and nothing happened. And finally, my brother Kenny said, pull that out and unravel that toilet paper. And I unraveled the tissue, and he began to sing the Lighthouse, and the rest was history.
And then
Vestal
recorded it too.
Hey, hold that thought. We'll come back and finish that in a little bit. Coming back right here on Gospel Music USA.
Welcome back to Gospel Music USA. And hey, pick up the phone and call a friend and tell them to watch Gospel Music USA right now, because Ronny Hinson is with us. Great songwriter, great singer, a legend in Southern gospel music. And Ronny, what is your website in case anyone wants to get in touch with you?
RonnyHinsonMinistries.com.
Yes, well,
Simple.
that's simple right there. And Ronny, we talked about the Lighthouse a few minutes ago. Is that your favorite song that you've ever written?
I would say, Karen, it is because of the longevity. I mean, it was for all practical purposes the first song I ever wrote, and the testimonies of what God has done through that song are just tremendous, and that's trophies that you can't put on a mantle.
That's it. Well, we are delighted that you're here today. Thank you for joining us. And folks, listen to Ronny Hinson sing for you, The Lighthouse.
Thank you all for having me. There's a lighthouse on a hillside, and it overlooks life's sea. And when I'm tossed, it sends out a light. It's a light that I might see, and the light that shines in the darkness now, it will safely lead me on. But I know if it wasn't for that old lighthouse, I know my ship would sail no more. Now everybody that lives around us, all around us, they say, why don't you go on and just tear that old lighthouse down? We all know the big ships, why ain't none of them sail by this way anymore? And I just can't see no use in that old thing standing round. Yeah, but then my mind goes back to that stormy night, when just in time, thank God I saw the light. Don't you know it was the light from that old lighthouse? Know something else? It still stands up there on the hill. And I thank God for the lighthouse. Every day I owe my life to Him. For Jesus is my lighthouse, and from the rocks of sin He has shone His light around, all around me. Now I can clearly see. Oh, but If you're at home, sing it with me. Come on. And I thank God for my lighthouse. I still owe my life to Him. For Jesus is my lighthouse, and from the rocks of sin He has shown His light around, all around me. Now and forever I can see, but if it wasn't for that old lighthouse still, where would your ship be? You know, I read the headlines this morning, and unless you're rooted and grounded in the Word of God, and I'm trying to get to that place, it's a frightening day that we live in, when you can read those headlines and things are happening that you thought you'd never live to see in your lifetime. But oh, that's the sad part about things. But here's the high point. There's something that hasn't changed. It's still bedrock solid, and you can stake your life on it. There's still power, miracle-working power in prayer. Listen to an old song I wrote back when Moby Dick was a minnow and the Dead Sea was just sick. Still moves me today. Hope it does you. Somewhere, somebody is praying tonight for a loved one who's wandered away from the light. Then faith reaches heaven, oh, when God is aware, and forever is changed in one moment of prayer. Oh, there's power in prayer, power to spare, and all that you'll ever need is waiting right there. A few words, a child's faith, and it's goodbye despair. For there's power, so much power. There's power in prayer. Science says the greatest power ever known to man is found in the hydrogen bomb. I come here to dispute that today. I declare the greatest power ever known to man is the power of a Christian's prayer. Oh, listen up now. You see, there was a bed, and it held a body, and it was perilled with so much pain. Those old doctors, bless their hearts, done all they knew to do. They walked off shaking their head, because hope is in vain. Oh, but wait, there's somebody praying in the midst of the gloom. And all at once, the great physician, he steps into the room. Oh, there's power in your prayer, power to spare, and all that you'll ever need. Why, it's waiting right there. All it takes is a few words, just a childlike faith, then it's goodbye despair. For there's power, so much power. There's power in prayer. You know, the way that that you can tell that God has intervened, and the way that you can tell that there is a move of God going on, is the fact that it can be summed up in one little word. When God is in the midst of it, results happen. And it means that God is still in the miracle working business today. Listen to a song that I love. I like it so well I may write it again sometime. Yeah. Here we go. What are you doing wearing that heavy burden? Now you don't have to hang your head so low. Don't you know this is the hour of that Holy Ghost power? And I just stopped off today to let you know that God, He's still in the miracle business. I said God, He can still make the devil run. No matter what you need, you don't have to beg or plead. Before you can count to one, it's done. Now many think that faith is just the name of a woman. Some count their faith as monetary gain. Oh, but I have got good news. Faith is what you use when you're trying to drive the devil's mind insane. I'm telling you, God, He's still in the miracle business. I said, God, He can still make the devil run, get away. No matter what you need,